Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. Tomorrow night, Celtic will be in Ireland playing Sligo Rovers. We're going to preview that match in this video. We're going to talk about several things because there's a lot of good things coming out of Ireland regarding this. But first of all, we're going to jump into the Carly's first up says, move your hoop, Baz. PS3 Retro TV. That's a cracking little channel if you're looking for a little gaming channel that's up and coming. He says, evening, Baz and chatters. Scenarios coming in from North London. Wex 1888. Cracking atmosphere from the Green Brigade at the women's game. Unfortunately, I didn't watch it. I was out with family. I've got family over, so I was out watching that. So I didn't watch the women's game. Maybe someone can tell us how it's going, if it's still going on. How many? I don't think we'll get any on tonight. Joseph Davison, Kieran's in, Paul Baird's in, Stephen Johnson's in, Lorna's in, Wilson QW's in, Paul Baird's in, Tam Mack's in, Jamesy Boy's in the house, Ian Cullen, Joseph Davison, Frank Bonner, Hazel and Paul Meekin is in the house so far. Anyway, it's been an interesting 24 hours when it comes to Celtic. They do have a lot of players away playing international football. But tomorrow evening sees Celtic take on Sligo Rovers. And Sligo Rovers are looking to link up with Celtic F.C. Foundation. Now remember, currently Neil Lennon is in Spain. Yes, Neil Lennon is currently in Spain. I think it's today that they come over, if I remember correctly. And he's taken part of the Celtic Foundation's little walk that they're doing. 118 kilometres, I think it is. And all for Celtic charity. Now, let me see if I can get... there we go. I can get his Just Given page. Now... his Just Given page is still sitting at £7,756. It's a lot more than the £1,000 that was targeted, and I'm going to put it up again just to give him. Oh, it's from the 13th of October it starts. 13th? No, is it from the 13th? I thought it was before then. But anyway, on the Just Given page it says it starts on the 13th of October. Which is next Sunday. This Sunday coming. How could I forget? I'll not be doing YouTube that day, just saying. Yes, the Celtic Foundation do trek the Camino de Santiago trek, which is a fantastic trek. It takes in lots of it's an old religious trek from many millennia ago, and it's fantastic that Neil Lennon's taking part. The reason I'm talking about that is Celtic Foundation are also linking up with Sligo Rovers. I'm going to put that on there just in case anybody... I'll pin the message for Neil Lennon's thing. I know that a lot of you have already given, so thank you to everyone that has. Thank you on behalf of Neil Lennon, and thank you for everyone that mentioned the channel. But I thought I would mention it again because it's getting closer to the time, and I am going to push it in the next upcoming days. It's unfortunate that it is an international break because the views tend to go down a bit. Anyway, back to the game tomorrow. Sligo Rovers and Celtic Foundation are linking up to boost a fundraiser for disability sports. To mark the occasion, Sligo Rovers and Celtic FC match on the 9th of October at the Showgrounds Stadium. The Celtic FC Foundation and the community outreach team at Sligo Rovers have announced the start of the Ability Counts project. This programme will offer sports participation and learning opportunities for people with Down syndromes, neurodeficiency and special physical and educational needs. A formal launch will take place at 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. on October, and Sean Fallon at the Sean Fallon Astro at the Showgrounds. Now, Sean Fallon, we all know who he is. Sligo Tim, as he goes by on, and he was a fantastic keeper for Celtic, who sat on the bench in a big game. But it doesn't matter. It's good to see that Sean Fallon still goes to Celtic games to this day, and he still does a lot for charity with the Celtic Foundation, which is fantastic to know. But the Sligo Rovers Down syndrome team and the Chief Executive of the Celtic FC Foundation, Tony Hamilton, will take Willie McStay. Will be in attendance for that game. And I remember the last time that I seen Willie McStay, it was down when Celtic played Manchester City. And I walked up to him and went, Mr. McStay, can I get a photograph? You got to call, I always call the old players Mr. It's maybe just an age thing, but you've got to give them the respect that they've earned at their time, and especially being at Celtic. The Celtic Foundation has been active in Ireland for a number of years, offering inclusive sports through the Ability Counts project. Previously in Dublin, Derry, Donegal and Mayo. This is the first project of its type that the Foundation has delivered in Sligo. It extends the Celtic Foundation's presence in the town and the country to build community games participation programme. Sligo Rovers F.C. recently launched its own programme to focus on disability, sports and community outreach programme, having built relationships with local organisations as part of this process. The new partnership between Sligo Rovers FC and the Celtic Foundation will enhance the disability projects locally, with coaches from both organisations working together to deliver multi-sports physical health sessions, educational activities and demonstrate how ability counts. So hats off to the Celtic Foundation and Sligo Rovers. We all knew that it just wasn't going to be a game of football. There had to be more to it, and I'm glad that Celtic are doing what Celtic do, and that's help out people that really need it. And it's a fantastic thing, and it should be applauded by the club. The CEO of Sligo Rovers, Andrew Feekins, said community engagement is of equally of access and opportunity is a cornerstone of our diverse activities at Sligo Rovers FC. Football, social responsibility and the Ability Counts project will form a cornerstone of portfolio of initiatives that will directly impact a wide range of individuals within a football concept and the general development and learning in Sligo, which is fantastic. We are proud to be partner of this programme with Celtic FC Foundation. It offers us increased learning development opportunities as a team and to bring in a fresh sense of purpose to the stature of our work within the community. I look forward to seeing the Ability Counts programme in action and continue the expansion with offering Celtic FC Foundation to local communities. Tony Hamilton of the Celtic Foundation says, we are delighted to be launching this new programme in Sligo, building excellent work that we have already carried out in Ireland. Ireland will forever be in Celtic's DNA. We're fully committed to ensuring the Foundation continues to make a positive difference to the lives of people who are in need right across the country. Tony Hamilton, a fantastic servant to the club. Tony's one of the good guys at the club. Tony's the guy that went from announcing the team at Celtic to living the dream and helping as many people as he can. And I've got a lot of time for Tony, and he is a fantastic guy. So hats off to the Celtic Foundation. Hats off to Tony Tony Hamilton for putting in the work that he does with the Celtic Foundation. Anyway, let's jump into the chat. John Fallon, remember Celtic versus governing team many years. Let's jump back into the chat and see who's on. Now, with the woman with 7 minutes gone, says Ian. Never heard of that channel. It's a stream site, Chowpil. Let me just jump there. Anyways, hail all my people, says Carly. Peter King says, why is Celtic TV not showing the women's game tonight? No idea. Wilson QW says, go on Lenny. I'm going to jump through a lot of the chat. Apologies. I used to wash Willie McStay's windows. Very good guy. You'll remember then, a long time ago, my dad took me to Celtic Park to meet Roy Aitken, and we were going out for lunch. And when we walked through the doors of the old Celtic Park, there was a young guy called Raymond McStay. Yes, Raymond McStay. Not Willie, not Paul, young Raymond McStay. And his leg was stooked up. He had broke his leg, and he never really made it at Celtic. But the McStay family are ingrained in Celtic history, and it was nice to meet young Raymond that day. He's the brother that never really got as famous as the other two. And you've got to say the McStay family are just absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that's my claim to fame, and I'll not tell you who we sat and had lunch with. It was Murdo McLeod, it was Packy Bonner, it was Tommy Burns, it was Roy Aitken, and Davy Proven. There you go. Just thought I'd throw that in there. That was a long time ago. And I've still got the pictures. There was one incident that happened that day, actually. We were in the middle of the pitch, when you could stand in the middle of the pitch, and we're getting our pictures taken, and Roy's telling me to take it in and all the rest of it. And there's one player, after training, still doing sprints up and down the side of the pitch, and I was transfixed with him, and it was Paul McStay. He was still behind, the last one to leave after training, still doing sprints up and down the side of the pitch himself. Absolutely legend was the Maestro. The Maestro was a player and a half. Anyway, let's get on to the Sligo Rovers chat. Once we've been in it, the comments. Baz, you're talking about John Fallon. I remember Celtic versus the Governor Street team many years ago. Yeah, it's John Fallon, sorry. Apologies. James Boyce says, I was at a seminar today talking about success they put in the most successful teams in the world. Sevco second, Celtic. What does that to do with this? Anyway, Hail, the Celtic woman, says Paul. Hoop Dog with Dog says, it's a great foundation that our people are always giving and willing to help out. Needs to be credited for the work. They do need to be credited, and it's something that I am going to keep on doing on this channel, because I mean, I've still got the picture up there when I've sailed into paradise on the 10th of April in 2011, and I've got to admit, I've never done a lot since then. I wanted to go to Kenya with the Celtic Foundation a few years ago, but it never ever happened. And I think that I'm going to start pushing it more, the Celtic Foundation. So anyway, Mona Drum says Tony Wood. Peter Larkin is in the house, saying hello. Nicola McCaffrey is in the house also for the Milton Provos. Right, let's get on to the big game. We've spoke about the Neil Lennon fundraiser, which I've put the link in the comments again. Spoke about the Celtic Foundation that are doing fantastic work in Ireland with Sligo Rovers before this game tomorrow evening. So it is just more than a game. It's about making sure that Irish history, which is a fundamental part of Celtic, is never forgotten. And I think sometimes, especially in the modern era, the modern fan base can moan about Celtic waving flags of various concerns and singing songs, especially. And I think it should never be forgotten. And there's a lot of people from Belfast watch this channel. There's a lot of people from Ireland, and it should never be forgotten what Ireland went through, and a lot of Celtic fans went through. And that's all we're going to say on it, because we've got to stay out of politics. But big up the boys of the old brigade. That's all I'm saying. I'll get the scarf out. That'll really annoy them. Anyway, the Scottish champions do head to the Showgrounds Stadium tomorrow against Sligo Rovers, who are currently in 6th position in the League of Ireland's Premier Division. It looks to be a sterling competition for Celtic's young, hot talent, as some people are saying. Celtic could also have some other fringe players in, which they will do. Off the back of a 2-1 win at Ross County, how many of the fringe players will get a game to prove that they are worthy to play for the Celtic first team? Celtic will have a full complement of stars in the team, I'm sure, but they will also be given a chance to test out some of the younger players that are coming through Celtic, who are needing some minutes, and to show Brendan Rodgers that they are worthy. But when it's Celtic versus Sligo Rovers versus Celtic, it's only going to be televised on one channel, and that's League of Ireland TV. So if you've got a Fire Stick, start looking out League of Ireland TV to see if you've got it. If not, the pass for the live stream costs €10. Well, you'll have a half-season pass, which includes all of the League of Ireland matches. You're bound to get it on your Fire Stick if you've got a Fire Stick. If not, it's going to cost you €10 to watch the game tomorrow. There's always a way that they get to fans, isn't there? We spoke about in the live earlier this evening about the players that might play tomorrow, but I just think that we should be talking about the good that comes out of these games, and the good that Celtic Foundation Celtic as a team and the Celtic Foundation go completely under the radar, I think. I mean, I've spoken about this before. The Green Brigade can do a Just Giving page to get new tifos, and they can raise 30 grand like that. And then the Celtic Foundation is doing bucket days to try and get money to make real changes to people's lives. And it should never be forgotten that Celtic was brought about to make a difference to people's lives in the East End of Glasgow. And for the charitable side of it still to be in existence all these years later, and not only in existence, but thriving and making massive, massive differences and making massive change to people's life, all in the name of charity and all by fans, just guys like me and you, women like me, well, not me, because there used to be a man, and women and guys just like us that want to go out their way and just do that something little extra as a fan, and that the memories go down with them. You know, the memories are there for life. When you do good sometimes, you get it back tenfold. The more that you give, there used to be a breakfast meeting that we used to go to years ago, and it was called the Giver's Gain. The more that you give out to other people, you receive back tenfold, which is true. I mean, if you look at the work that Tony Hamilton's done over the years before he became the top guy at the Celtic Foundation, he'd done a lot of work for the Celtic Foundation before, and then he ends up running the Celtic Foundation because he was that good at it, because he was giving out that much goodness. Anyway, our tifos are life-changing, says Carly. Yeah, they are life-changing, but when it comes to it, you know, I'm talking about perspective sometimes of people. You know, people will give to tifos to the club, but they don't give in the same velocity to the Celtic Foundation. And I think we could make a real difference. And you know, if we were to push that side of it just a little bit more than what we do, I think that we could go down in history as one of the biggest. And you've got to remember, the Celtic Foundation, I've done work for a lot of charitable organisations, and these so-called charitable organisations have got high-paid executives that are running about in high-end cars, that are renting fancy properties and fancy offices and buying up property to then let out for charitable needs. And I think the Celtic Foundation, because it is part of Celtic, it doesn't have that thing with it. You know, it's not got the big staffing thing that sucks away the majority of the money. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is the money that goes into the Celtic Foundation, a massive, massive percentage of that actually goes into helping people that are in need. Anyway, you can talk and write and boast about your Fenians and your clans, says Carly. The Green Brigade and the boys, North Curve, all behind the goals of the women's game tonight, with the banner saying Celtic End, showing the club what they want at Paradise. No, it's not. I don't want to get into that tonight. We're on a good roll. I don't want to get into... Yeah, let's keep it just as... I've got a lot of time for the Green Brigade and the boys, and it is their own agenda wanting that. If the Green Brigade and the boys, if they can raise 130 grand for Palestine, why don't they try and raise some of that for the Celtic Foundation? And it's an age thing. Maybe you come to... It's all about perspective. You know, it is all about perspective, and... I'm all for the Green Brigade in the current section, and I've asked the question before, should the Green Brigade have a section behind the goals? I mean, it was never their objective years ago, but all of a sudden it's their objective. And I don't want to upset anybody within the group, but you know, I just think that sometimes having your own agenda within the club, and I don't want to get onto this because the Green Brigade raise a fantastic amount of money for charitable needs, and they've done fantastic. They've raised money for food banks all over Scotland. And when I say that, I don't say that lightly. I've seen the list. I've seen the money that was raised. I've seen how much money was given to the food bank in Kirkcaldy and Aberdeen and Dundee, Inverness, places like this where Celtic aren't on the ground. You know, and I've seen the money that the Green Brigade has raised. But I think sometimes if they were just to do that, just that little bit more for, maybe even say the Celtic Foundation, it would maybe appease fans, and fans might I don't like the split that's currently, you either like the Green Brigade or you don't like them. I just think that there's ways that football fans can do things to make friends and influence people. If you want a Celtic end, make friends and influence people. Don't just put up banners saying this is what the club wants. It's not really what all the fans want. A lot of fans want a fucking 100,000 seater stadium. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Anyway, we are a club like no other. Joseph Davidson says, well said, Paul, will never be forgotten. It's our bloodline. What did Paul say? The Irish history will never be forgotten by Celtic. It won't be. Of course it won't. It will never be forgotten. My gran was Irish. Don't even get me started about when she used to watch the news back in the late 80s. Well, the nonsense that was going on over in Ireland at the time, well, the mid to late 80s. She could swear like a trooper, and she was only 5'3". And every man was scared of her. All my big uncles and big cousins who were big hard men were all scared of my gran. Anyway, well said, Paul. The Irish history will never be forgotten by Celtic, and it shouldn't be. And to the modern day woke fans who are like, what are you waving an Irish flag, man? You're Scottish. Going fuck. I better not swear. Get demonetised again. Anyway. There should be no such thing in poverty in 2024. Unfortunately, you've got Labour in charge and they're taking away €200 quid a month off of pensioners. Don't get me started on Labour, because don't get me started in politics. I'm the son of a miner. Nobody should ever vote Labour again. Nobody should have voted Labour after they got into bed with the Tories during the independence referendum. Nobody should ever vote Labour. They are not for the people. They're for themselves. And Keir Starmer's just an utter... Anyway, that's enough I'm going to say about that. Coming from the son of a miner. Anyway, Celtic play in Ireland. It helps keep the connections with the culture and keeps the young support informed. Unfortunately, Paul, there is a big disconnect between Celtic and a lot of Irish. A lot of Irish supporters, unfortunately, whether you like it or not, either support Man United or Liverpool. When you look onto the Man United and Liverpool channels, the amount of Irish folks that are commenting on them, there's one Man United channel that's even talking about doing events in Ireland. Unheard of. Big Rabbi says, hopefully the club and the players will start going back to Celtic FC and hospital visits. I remember, they still do it. The Sick Kids Wars, they still do it every Christmas. Big Rabbi Niz, they still do it every Christmas. The players go into the Sick Kids Wards every year. They still do that. And it's fantastic. They maybe don't publicise that enough. Celtic board create the split between the fans to suit their own agenda. Yes, they do, Paul. I'm totally with you about that. You know that, and they do. They also created the standing section out of wanting to be the first. So they use each other. They do use each other. Anyway, both sets of my grandparents for Irish, Donegal and Ballycastle. Well said, Baz. Stammer is a Tory of this guy. He is. Don't get me started. I grew up through the mining dispute of the late 70s, early 80s, and they're not Labour anymore. Anyway, let's get back on to Sligo Rovers Celtic. We'll see it does kick off, and you're going to have to pay £10 to pay to watch. But who will be in the team? Well, that's up to Brendan Rodgers. And I think that whoever plays in the team tomorrow, Brendan Rodgers will get to see players that don't get a full 90 minutes. But realistically, the big, massive news is that the Celtic Foundation and Sligo Rovers Community Hub have made a connection that is going to make a massive difference to that part of Ireland. Anyway, right, we're not hanging on too late tonight because my throat is killing me and my daughter is through in the other room. Hopefully the clubs and players will start going. I've done that one, we do that. What time is kick-off tomorrow? Kick-off is it's 8:30, is it not? Kick-off tomorrow is 7:30 Celtic Park time, 8:30 European time, and whatever time around the world, no idea. It's saying that you can still buy tickets, but it's been said that it's still it is sold out for the match. But it is on at 7:30 Celtic Park time. If it's on at 7:30, I will be doing a live before it. I will go on. We'll wait and see tomorrow. Yeah, I should be back. Try and go on an hour before 6:30. Should be back by then. We'll go live around about 6:15 Celtic Park time, because they should have the team. Should be announced somewhere anyway. And then we'll see about trying to find the channel that it is on. Live stream. It is only on that one channel. It's funny because you go into some sites and it's saying it's not being shown on TV, but it's being shown on the League of Ireland TV channel. So we'll need to try and find out that, and if we can get any links to it, and get them told to get off because someone is going to sleep. So it's time to be quiet. Fantastic chat, Baz. I'm on the drum, says Tony Wood. I'm on the drum. It's a fantastic area. Gotta love Drum Chapel. Gotta love it. Anyway, that's us done and dusted for the evening. Sorry, it is just a quick one, but someone is trying to get to sleep in the next room. So on that note, have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans, and big up the Celtic Foundation. And if you haven't given to Neil Lennon's walk along the Camino de Santiago, the link is in the top of the chat in this, and I'll put it again up on the community tab in the channel, because I think that the more that we give to charity, it makes us a little bit better as a person.